Testing.
And I thought, I can't put this down in my bedroom because she's going to come
Testing,
and see I killed her
testing.
sacred cow.
Ooh, sounds good. It's almost like I know what I'm doing. The question is, where's my book? Ooh. How's everyone doing tonight?
Good.
Let's see some life from the left side of the room. I'm not feeling enough life over here. Okay, all right. I like to see it. Get your shit together. Or leave. Oh, wow. I'm so excited to hold all of you captive here tonight. Let's get into what we got. Ooh, I found some money. All right. Testing. So I did a lot of testing of the microphone, but I'm sure something will go wrong here. And I absolutely am not sure if I'll be able to do the reading with the microphone, so we'll see how this works. I don't know if this is loud enough for me. Testing. Sounds good? Saint, can you hear me over there? You hear me? Loud and clear? Loud and clear. I don't know who that guy is. We gotta sort him out. So, all right. Let me just check and make sure this is recording. Beautiful. I love to see it. Everybody, there's wipe your tushes around the room. Please feel free to use them as you wish. They are not our sponsor, so do not. You got problems, man. Don't pay attention to that guy back there.
He's got a lot of wiping to do later.
A lot of wiping to do. So let's see here. I was supposed to work on an agenda last night, but I spent all night on the phone with my brother because, we were too busy powwowing. So, we figure, we're going to do a little winging it. Plus, I had a pound of sushi for lunch, so I don't know how far we'll get with the indigestion on me. But I just want to thank you guys for being here. We are a small but mighty group. You understand? Yeah, we're gonna have to get that under control. I'm gonna have to ask you politely that's a good baba right there. And that is Megan, who just came through the doors. This is her lovely studio. Thank you for having us, Megan. Thank you for being here and having us. So let's see here. I'm looking at our agenda. I will not be following this agenda, most likely due to my ADHD, so I will probably be all over the place. But I just want to thank everyone for being here. And unfortunately, we have to do some icebreakers because I want to get you guys into the groove. Yeah, icebreakers. So whoever is courageous enough will go first, or second, because I'll go first. So, oh, Amy is going to be our victim, the first victim of the night.
She'll kill me out in the parking lot.
Oh no. So, all right, let's get into it. So, I'll go first. I got this question here. It says, "How do you like your eggs?" All right, I like my eggs scrambled. I don't know about you guys. Who wants to go next? Fried?
Easily.
Why? What?
Fried on a bed of corned beef hash.
Corned beef hash.
Easily the best eggs in the world.
Lots of pepper.
Yeah.
There you go. Easily.
My mom always says corned beef hash smells like dog food. I had to stop eating it.
It doesn't not.
Yeah? Are we in agreement that corned beef hash is a dog
It
food?
smells like Alpo with a gravy drain or
It
something.
don't taste like
Ew.
Something from my childhood.
Whose team are you on? You're supposed to have my back here. Jeez.
Sorry.
All right, we won't do any more of that awkward shit. So let's see. I don't want to insult you guys by telling you how to think because I hate negative people, especially that tell me how to think and what I should do with my life. But I hope to show you how maybe you could think a little bit better tonight and maybe entertain you along the way. If you're not entertained, I'm certainly entertained. So have fun tonight. Make sure you guys maybe talk to someone you don't know. I think that's a big thing that I love doing. Always put my hand out and learning about someone I've never met before. And so there's QR codes at the front of the room. Santos, you want the mic, bro? You can run it. What's that? We're done.
I'm willing to last 3 years. Something I'm passionate about is cooking.
It does feel very, very much so like orientation. I happen to work with Will, so we work at Laz together, and so does Santos. We've got the Laz team. That's our healthcare team back there. So if you ever have any trouble with valet, you go to those guys.
That's a Kramer issue.
A Kramer?
You know, we all work at a place that nobody understands. You comprehend what it is you actually do on your time there. I don't think that for a minute. That's some underhand.
Yeah, we do. We park cars, but we do a lot more. And luckily, we have some great leaders with us. So thank you guys for being here with me. And let's get into it. So I don't want to waste any time. I hope to leave all the fluff out tonight. We have people. Someone. What happened? Is that the lady? I thought maybe it was the lady that was outside yelling before about her financial situation. I thought maybe she was joining us. So what is mixed feelings? Mixed feelings, what's the point of it? What's it about? Why did I start writing this book? Mixed feelings is basically my life in a really crazy way, and it's hard to believe that it's a real book now, and it's in my hands, and people can read it, and I can read it, and it's real. And I poured my life into this, and I really wanted to make sure that people had a book that they could pick up. And, if they were going through something or they just needed a little bit more insight to maybe improve their life. And I went through a lot of shit when I wrote this book. Excuse my French. I hope you don't mind, Sophia. Yeah, it's very exciting. I agree. It's very exciting. I put a lot into mixed feelings. I wrote it a couple years ago, and we spent some time proofreading it and getting it edited and making sure it could be as perfect as possible. And so, a lot of it is personal stories of mine that I'll share with you tonight, and antidotes for life that I think were helpful for me along the way. And so make sure you guys have drinks in your hands and you guys are comfortable, because we're going to get into it here. So if you have questions or you want to interject, please. All right. I'd like for it to be as interactive as possible. Every time I say that in my head, I want to punch myself in the face. It's just awful. It's just awful. So let's turn to page 11 and page 12. Let's see here. If you have a book, feel free to turn to that page. If you don't, you're welcome to stare into space and just imagine what the words look like. So when I started therapy at the tail end of 2022, I had traumas I was handling from a recent breakup and a lifelong friendship that went south. I was a total disaster. It wasn't until I had my aha moment when visiting a local psychic who asked me how much I would pay to fix my life. I was initially stymied by the absurd structure of the question and immediately picked up on this as a money grab opportunity for this professional. I responded with something to the tune of, I don't know, what do you think it'll cost to fix me? Couldn't even believe this person. They were literally going to take advantage of me when I was doing my absolute worst. Prior to this, we spoke for a few minutes, mostly in broad terms, not covering really anything important. I reeked of desperation, and admittedly, I needed answers. I was lost. It'll cost you $2,700 to fix you. $100 for each year of your life, she blurted out. I thought as I walked out after telling her to go fuck herself, what a fucked up world. I came to you on my darkest day, and your first thought was to exploit me for every penny I had. From that day forward, I turned the page to what I saw at the time as the end of the world. No exaggeration, this was marked as one of my darkest hours. Yet it was comical and enlightening. It appears that's just what I needed. Who knew? That psychic gave me everything I needed without ever knowing it or ever costing me a dime. I think it's kind of crazy what people will do to us when we're down and out. And, I was in such a bad place at the time that I wasn't really sure what to make of myself. So I walked out of there and I kind of laughed. I thought, man, this was really a bad time. I had just gone through a really bad breakup, and I had kind of went separate ways with a lifelong friendship that went south, and I didn't really know what to make of myself. And I was searching for any answers possible to figure it out. I was really not good. I was really not doing good. And that's a win in my book, right? So I got everything I needed from that, and I couldn't have ever imagined that. I had a different idea of what I thought I needed when I walked in there, and when I walked out, I just remember shaking my head like, damn, man, how crazy. And I think for me, I have a tendency of tripping myself up, and I think if you're looking for hope, you have to give yourself reasons to be hopeful. Thinking of what lies ahead is what has always kept me going. Not that it sucked now, but I had the ability to make it not suck. We all know the feeling of going through a bad breakup, losing a friend, and that was a big turning point for me. And it was really funny because I was like, damn, this person really just threw me to the wolves, and I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe it. Don't mind me. This is interesting. I've never done one of these before. Usually I'm on stage just making jokes and winging it. But I have to follow an agenda here because I do have some talking points I'd like to hit that I'll probably miss. I'll probably miss those talking points, but let's see. We're going to pan to page 37. I actually really like this chapter. 37. Yep. This is a good one. Let's see here. Who read the book already? You guys read it, right? You read it? What was your favorite part about Mixed Feelings?
I guess the rawness of it.
The rawness. Yeah. I think we need more of that these days. I think there's too much bullshit. There's too much fluff. There's too much sugarcoat and things. And I think by getting to the point and being direct about it, I think, it cuts out a lot of the BS. And, that's what I hope, from reading this that people can take away. These are normal day things. I go through normal shit just like anyone else. And I want to really make sure that was, what came across. So I'm happy to hear that. Maybe the transparency of it was helpful. I appreciate that. Thank you. All right. Let's see here. 37. All right. It was a Sunday morning, so I had extra time to putz around the house, thankfully. It's almost like the world knew I needed a few extra moments, and sure as day, I indulged myself in some time to be a hermit. I just needed a moment, and for the last couple months, it's been all gas and no break for me, which isn't unusual. Sometimes life gets ahead of you, and you don't even realize it. I've always been used to the chaos of being on the go, having things to do and work to be done. It's never bothered me much, if at all. I enjoy working 15-hour days on various projects. This day, though, there was turmoil taking place in my head, even if it was brief. I had to stop and reel things back in, even if that meant doing absolutely nothing. If it's one thing I suck at the most, it's relaxing. I'm the worst at relaxing. I don't know how to turn it off. And I think as I've gotten older, I've learned I had to turn it off. And I think sometimes we're inundated with so much crap. I mean, we could talk all damn day about it. We're inundated with so much, whether it be social media, politics, all the bullshit we put in front of ourselves. I think we really have a tendency of tripping ourselves up, and that can not be good. That is a recipe for disaster. So make sure you take time to relax in life. No matter what, you got to cut time out for just you. It didn't matter if it was the weekend either for me. That just meant more time to catch up on work. I hadn't realized in quite some time how far I've come in my journey, and maybe this was the universe telling me it's time to take inventory. I realized I made incredible progress and truly did everything in my power to remember daily of the inner work that's taken place these last several months. And while sharing my insight and enlightenment on social media, it took off in a way I couldn't have imagined. And because of it, I've been afforded opportunities to help other people find their way, like writing this book, reaching hundreds of thousands of people in need, donating to causes that were close to me. How incredible. I basically do what I want. It's fun. It's fun.
That's been my motto forever.
I do what I want. Yeah, I do what I want, and I hope you guys do what you want too, because life is short. And if you spend your life living somebody else's life, you're not going to get to enjoy it the way you want. I found this to be quite bizarre at times when I really gave it some thought. I wasn't focused on the progress. I was always focused on what's next. I loved what I was doing by sharing my journey with the world, and it spoke volumes to me. Every day I was inundated with messages on every platform telling me how my content had changed someone's life. It had always been a dream of mine to make a difference in other people's lives, but like this, I wasn't prepared for this. It's kind of bizarre to even talk about this out loud, guys. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of fucking crazy for me. I wrote this on paper, I put it into a book, and now I'm here reading it to you. I knew I was changing people's lives and hustled hard daily to go further, be more honest, and talk more freely. It gave me a chance to get away from the what's next mentality and gave me a chance to explore my freedom of expression. Plus, make some money from it, which is always great too. Who doesn't like a couple extra bucks, right? That doesn't hurt, you know? A couple extra bucks. Well, make sure you add some monies to my piggy bank, right? I gotta eat this week. I know I can count on you, buddy. Yeah. That doesn't sound very trusting. It's been an amazing journey for me, and I sometimes wonder if people know how much it means to me to be the voice of so many of the voiceless. But no matter the message, I wanted to make a greater impact. I have a question in here. How would you change the world for the better if you could? Better question, how are you already changing the world? I think sometimes we have a tendency of not really realizing the outcome of our circumstances and compound interest over time, especially when you're not doing good. I think a good life starts with one good day, and if you can start with one good day, then you're in good shape. And then you turn that into 2 good days and 3 good days and 4 good days, and over time it becomes a mentality. I've always had a knack for forward thinking, and it's what's always saved me in my dark times, but it at times kept me from appreciating what I had accomplished so far. At times, this type of thinking made me speak to myself in ways that were incredibly negative, never appreciating what I had in front of me, never satisfied. I had to actively remind myself of how much good I've done in the world, and even as often as people told me, it never really registered in my head. But I've always kept in mind that my thinking is what helps me, but also hurts at times. You can't get the good without the bad. What can I say? This is the type of thinking that kept me hungry, though. It helped, but equally hurt. The feeling of inadequate is what kept me from pushing harder with every passing day. When the heart yearns for things, it's hard to ignore. Whether it was right, wrong, or indifferent, it gave me purpose and stamina to push on to always be the best me. I knew in order to be that person, it had to be useful to others. I think for me, it's in me to be a servant to the world, and I don't take that lightly. It's my purpose, and I'm quite good at it. Hello. As I looked around this morning, I wanted to understand where the true root of my anxieties was coming from, despite knowing how good things were going. I think what drives me crazy is I have a lot going for me the last few years, despite all the hurdles. And I remember writing this chapter and thinking, God, I should be buzzing. I should absolutely be buzzing from all the things I've been doing, and I just could not get it together. And I knew that. I think that was the most annoying part. I knew how much I had going for me, and I still couldn't figure it out. I still do this, by the way. It's something that won't be going away. It's embedded in me. I'd be a fool to tell you that it did go away. But I think to be aware of it is a big deal. You have to be aware of where you have opportunities and what you're the best at, and what you need to fix. I diligently peeled back the layers as I read, and even as I write this to you, every moment gaining momentum and confidence. Oh, that's okay. You're the prettiest little girl, Sophia. She's been laughing at me all day.
All day.
Yeah, I like babies after today. I didn't know. She's adorable.
He played with Naomi and Bella like they were toys for a number of years.
Yeah, now they're big kids and awful.
Awful.
Naomi and Bella are my niece and little sister. They're 17 now. They're brutal. They're brutal, those kids. It was scary for me. I worked hard to overcome these demons these last few months, mostly alone. I launched a life coaching program where I didn't want to let my clients down, and I stayed up so many nights to make sure I could give the best advice. My new apartment was so expensive that I was sick thinking of having to live paycheck to paycheck, even though I wasn't really struggling like that. Everything just wasn't going at the speed I needed it to. All I was doing was hustling, and I didn't have time to live and enjoy everything. I hadn't had time to see my family in a while, and that was starting to hurt the soul. I ultimately feared letting everyone down and what others may think of me. This thought alone brought me back to reality. Clearly, these were just some fabricated thoughts, but with little time for introspection in a busy world, we're all in a busy world. It's always the next thing. What's next? What do we have to do? What's the grocery list look like? Check, 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 check. All the crap you got to do all damn day. I wake up in the morning and I just respond to a list of things I have to do. It's easy to get into that mentality, but I think for me, when I was writing this, it occurred to me just how important it is. You have to prioritize time for you, time to think about what's on your mind, time to talk about it, time to write about it. That's exactly what I had to do here. Take a step back. Realizing some of those troubling thoughts helped me let go. I thought if I wanted to get more and better results, I had to stay at it. I nearly disregarded all my feelings this morning to just maintain my routine. How do they say, keep up appearances? No thanks. It's a slippery slope not listening to the heart when it speaks to you, and you may find at times the heart wins. If I wanted to come back to my true purpose and make this unbearable thoughts more digestible, I had to stop controlling my day-to-day and let it what it needed to be. This morning was all about controlling my destiny by releasing control so that I could blossom into whatever that may entail. Even if that meant my routine was going to be less than ordinary this morning, that's okay. You got to stay flexible. I'm a control freak. As soon as my routine's jacked up, I'm screwed up for the day. It's like waking up late.
Like hunger.
You know what happens when you wake up late? You're just on fire the rest of the day.
Every day.
Every day?
Every day.
No, we don't wake up. We leave late.
Ah, there's a difference.
I wake up late. I don't know. Wake up late, arrive late, leave late.
The people that have to get up and go to leave.
Yeah.
15 alarms set for the day, and none of them for me.
I'm late to work every day.
I'm an
the boss.
enabler. That's what happened to you.
I don't think I turned out half bad.
One day you said, "Oh, I have to do this myself."
Yeah, that was painful. That was a painful day, probably. It's been a long, hard journey, but I've been learning. I've been learning. So let's see here. Where were we? I took some deep breaths with all this in mind before I started writing and sorting out these very layered types of thoughts. I took some reverse engineering before even I could understand what I was thinking, let alone articulate it in a chapter. Sometimes as a writer and a speaker, things just flow out of me. And I know exactly what points I'm looking to draw up. But other times, it takes talking freely and writing without limits to come to the true meaning of things. We all have a different creative process, and knowing where to turn is important. You'll be happy to know what makes you tick rather than never giving it any thought. At this point in my journey, I'd done so much good for the world, and all I could think of was that I hadn't done enough. I had every form of validation a person could ask for and was accepted across every facet of my life and every industry I was a part of. I think my family regarded me as someone dependable. I earned accolades and spearheaded company initiatives at my corporate job because I was the best at it. If I was making content, my fans would tell me I saved their lives. At the end of my life coaching sessions, my clients would say the kindest words to me, usually leaving me inspired after every session. I was being promoted at work and receiving bonuses and recognition for my hard work regularly. My family was beyond proud, and my few friends were rooting me on no matter how far they might have been. Life had me buzzing, man. I felt good, but I felt like shit. I just couldn't get it together. I was changing the world. If you had asked me any time prior to this in the last 6 months of my life, I would say I just wanted to change the world and make it a better place. I wasn't entirely sure what or how that looked like, and frankly, kept myself from committing to any one thing because I wanted life to take me where I needed to be. I was also scared of committing to something and potentially sucking and failing, so there's always that. I think the best thing about life is you're going to suck at things and you're going to fail a lot, and that's okay. And I think the more you do that and the more uncomfortable you are, the more you'll find joy in things that actually give you joy. You won't be so caught up in how uncomfortable you are. And doing it over time and the repetitiveness of it, it becomes like muscle memory. It doesn't matter how much you love a challenge, sometimes your natural way of embracing the suck doesn't apply. That to me was a form of control because I was only attracting what was most right for me. And if it wasn't, I didn't pursue it to the point of embarrassing myself and giving up any control to the world. It's clear to me now that the only way I can truly make change in this world isn't through hard work, accolades, and recognition, comments, or likes. If we wish to be where we are today and finally getting to that point, you must take the time to appreciate what you've already done. It's not always about moving mountains inside of a day. It's not always going to be rainbows and butterflies. It's about the inner work and the work that no one sees but happens like magic. It starts with you before anything else. Your negative thinking can and will rule you if you let it do so. It's easy to let others berate us, and it's even easier to fall into the trap of beating ourselves down with the same nonsense others feed us. The reality is our thinking is what becomes us. Our thoughts are what we live with day in and day out. If that means replacing the negative thoughts and fears with gratitude and positivity, then push your way through and make the changes. It's just like working out. Over time, you'll get better and better at it. Just start somewhere that you feel good about and know at the end of the day, whatever that looks like, it's enough. You're enough. It's essential to your growth as a person that you treat your thoughts with flexibility and kindness. Paint a little color back into your life. It's not easy doing this whole life thing, so don't get down when things don't make much sense. If you reserve time to appreciate how much you've done for this world, no matter the size of the impact, you'll always be in a good place. It's all about the journey, but that means taking time, especially on your days off, to hold it close to you and appreciate it. Not just talking about it. Your internal work should and will never end, so if you want to be a real impact in this world, just get going to that place. Wherever that place is, that's going to do it for you. Love yourself because it's easy not to. And that is the end of chapter 7. Whew, that's a mouthful. This is fun. I'm having fun. Let's see here. What else is on the agenda? I had written a lot of this stuff out, so I was too busy going back and forth with my knuckleheaded brother last night. He didn't let me. No, he was trying to sell me on his latest get rich overnight scheme, and I was like kind of in awe listening to him. So I was like, yeah. And Jesse, you were talking about meatballs earlier.
Hey, brother, I make some good meatballs.
Bison, and I think you mentioned the other things in there. Is
Beef, pork, veal, and bison.
Bison.
Raccoon. I never tried. That's old school Italian.
Coon.
That's old school Italian.
That lady just took that deer out. We could have been eating all night long.
I think I'm tired of holding the microphone up, so I'm done with the microphone. You guys can hear me. My voice travels. Then move your ass up. You want to come sit with me, Santos? Come on, I got a spot right for you. You want to be a wise guy? Come on, wise guy, come sit with me. Thank you guys for listening. Let's turn to page 51. Let the pain propel you. This was a tough one for me. This was a tough one. Ma, don't comment at any point in time. You're not allowed to talk. You're not allowed to think or no feedback. My mom already read the entire book.
Me too.
No, you didn't. Got it. Got it at breakfast. I must have been 10 years old. I remember we lived in a tiny one-bedroom attic with an attic that I shared with my two siblings. We wanted to kill each other most of the time, as siblings would have it. There was a sentiment to that nurtured true joy and love, and I only realized that looking back on it now. We were dead broke, at least that's what I'm assuming, considering we didn't really ever have all the extras of life. I remember my mom worked a lot, but even young and naive, I knew we were living with some unusual circumstances. I didn't know until I was much older that donuts for dinner was not a normal thing. Sorry, Ma. They were delicious, though.
I would love to have one when I got home.
I'm sorry I ate them all.
Right.
I'm sorry I ate them all. I remember one night in particular about the donuts. That's a whole nother book. Hell, I loved that as a kid. I realized that afternoon naps for my mom, when she could squeeze them in, were something I myself would come to love, primarily out of exhaustion from working. We had a close family bond, a bond that ran deep even when we were young, mainly because it was all we had. It was unusual, but totally normal to us to some degree. Not to say there wasn't some stuff I didn't question, like why my shoes were so big and my clothes so baggy all the time. There were hurdles, and my mom usually picked up the slack where my dad didn't. As an adult now, I see things with some bit of clarity and was able to find understanding in our not so common lifestyle. I was lucky to have my mom, and no amount of words, books, awards could trump the love I have for my mom. We didn't have much, but it was instilled in us that we always had what we needed. If we wanted more, we needed to work for it, just like her and my dad did. They didn't have the best of relationships, but they were more aligned than they realized, I think. Sophia agrees. They both shared similar values in letting us kids be what we needed to be, work hard, love harder. My mom made sense of the unusual, though. Your feet are growing. You need space for your toes. This was the type of kindness that just can't be explained. She is quick-witted about it and shed light on the darkest situations. It's something I admire most about her. The tendency of a person is to give up, but my mom, it wasn't in her blood. I grew up to realize it wasn't in mine either. We had nothing. To think this was a step up, this tiny one-bedroom situated in a scary part of Newark, New Jersey. Ironically, one of my favorite parts of Jersey these days, especially if you need a good pastry spot. I didn't put the spot, but Calandra's is the best spot ever. Just saying, I'm willing to debate it, okay? I'd argue it. Best spot ever. The one morning that's forever stilled in my brain rattled my world just as it does now when I think back on it. Everything counts when you're dead broke. There's a shortage of everything because you don't have the money to overstock on groceries, get the best snacks, go to the doctor when you're sick. There's no wiggle room. It was as dysfunctional as you could imagine. One morning in particular, I watched my mom drop a half-gallon of milk on the kitchen floor. I imagined she was making coffee or something that I will forever live with this memory. It could easily be a big portion of why I never want to be poor in my life, which could explain my workaholic mentality. That's what I mean. Some stuff sticks with you for life and can either help you grow or keep you stagnant. As my mom fell to the ground in total defeat, to say I was crushed inside would be an understatement. I was a little kid and I could feel how broken she was. I knew we had nothing. It's moments like those where you see the human spirit break inside just a little. It makes you think of things in a different light when you see how broken a person can be. It was hard enough to be struggling, raising kids, trying to work multiple jobs, but to drop the milk? The milk! Ma, the milk! The same milk you spent your last $3 on for the next week. Your one guilty pleasure that makes your coffee taste like the coffee you love. I was hurt, And to this day, this memory hurts me in a way that many memories don't. I held on to that memory for years and only in recent years learned I could do something productive with it. It serves me in more ways than I could imagine by allowing me to open up about the experience and embrace where my roots are in life. I know we didn't have a lot of possessions, but I grew up to see how unimportant possessions were when life ran smoother on love and the little things. I've been able to use it to push me. And the moments when I feel like I need a nudge, I feel that same pain from that day. It's my goalpost that I not only need to ensure my family never feels that way again, but it keeps me showing up when I don't want to. Which, as I get older, I don't want to show up more and more regularly. I don't know what it is. I have a plan, and while there's been many distractions along the way, my mom has always and continues to be the number one person that will be taken care of for life. It may sound like nothing, but our pain will always come and take away from our happiness. There will not always be happy days. When we have a relationship with the pain in our life, it gives us the ability to control it and use it for the greater good. I've worked hard my whole life, sometimes without reason. If I had to guess, though, I think about that memory more than I realize. It's a kind reminder to never allow my family to feel that pain again, no matter what. Despite the circumstances, I knew exactly that when I was a kid. I knew I didn't want anyone to feel that type of pain ever again. It didn't matter if it was my mom or a stranger. If you're struggling or just need a pick-me-up, just think back to a time, whether a long time ago or a recent pain. Think of every aspect and every emotion associated with this memory or multiple memories. Let your every sense feel the memory. You can imagine what you think of daily without consciously realizing it. Maybe you always question yourself, so you doubt your choices in life. Perhaps a bad breakup left you feeling invalidated, and you know that you're destined for more. It could be anything. Some people go through such traumatic things in life, there's truly no shortage of adversity and pain. Just try to land on things that remain relevant to you, and ask yourself some of the following. What's that one memory embedded in you? Does it have any productive value? If you view it objectively. What does it mean? Do you want it to mean something else? I think what I love most about life is our ability to rewrite our own stories. That is my favorite. I've lived with this thought that I couldn't do things for a lot of years. And I'm so grateful I was able to learn that I can live the life and have the life that I want as long as I can see it and feel it and be in it. You can rewrite whatever your story is. But having a relationship with that pain is so important. Odds are, like most, you're letting your emotions surrounding your memories control you versus being even keel about it, what it may be, so that you can treat them with flexibility and understanding. More than likely, you're letting it negatively affect you. If you want to turn your pain into something productive, you've got to create space in your life to have a relationship with it. Who would have thought having a relationship with your pain would be beneficial? Guess again. Ask the questions. Don't accept excuses and be sure to police your thoughts. It's all about digging deep. Maybe sitting down to meditate, taking a walk on the beach, crying when you feel like crying. It could be as simple as journaling your thoughts at the end of every day. No matter how redundant of a practice you think it may be. It could be a worthy journey to understanding yourself much better, which in turn could lead you to a place of comfort within the chaos of life's many trials and tribulations. Once you get a grip on what's controlling you, and you know what those feelings are, you can get through it. It's essential we could become aware of these hurdles, then nip them in the ass. No time to waste. Just being kinder to yourself when it comes to your emotions could make a world of difference. It could be more like being kinder to others, which is my personal favorite, to elevate myself. Nothing like some ego-driven choices, but if positive and productive, who could say anything? Once you get right with the worst pains of your existence, you can take some actionable steps to use them to your advantage. Sort out what works for you, find the place where you feel you will thrive, and turn up the volume and get to work. I'll never forget that day in the kitchen with my mom. I'll never forget that pain, but if not for that pain, I wouldn't be who I am today. That memory to this day breaks my heart. It was the saddest moment in my life. It's amazing what you can do with pain if you're open to finding the purpose in it. One day can change everything. How we doing?
Good.
Woo!
I like that.
I love it.
Yeah?
Sorry about the I'm not sure what I was doing. I was on overdrive, probably exhausted. Who knows what I was doing with it?
I feel like that happens to
But
all
it
of
was
us,
such
right?
loss to me to see it on the floor.
I'll never forget that. You know, it's crazy how we don't realize what some of these memories do to us over time and how they kind of stick with us. And I think for me, it's all about digging into that stuff. You have to understand yourself. And I never really felt like doing that because I just thought I knew everything. And then I got a little older and realized I don't know anything. And then I wrote a book.
Similar to that. And I think I talked about it through the years. Getting ready for work in the morning. And, you know, during that time when we didn't have anything, I didn't have a car because I couldn't afford what had happened to my insurance to own the car. So
Right.
we walked everywhere. Draggies on buses, we walked in the rain and the snow and the heat and everything. But my one sad moment was trying to get myself to work every day on time. And the one morning I dropped the bobby pins on the floor off the counter in the bathroom. And I started crying because I knew if I stopped and picked them up, and you know I had to, that I was going to be late and probably miss the bus and have to walk 1.5 miles to work, which I ended up doing because I stopped to pick them up. The bobby pins. It was just such a horrible moment. It reminded me of every day, the struggle it was to get to work.
Yeah.
It just was, you know.
If you're wondering, it was kind of like a field trip to us as a kid, though. You
I
know?
remember me sitting in a chair in like my suit jacket and my bag and everything against the wall. And then it was time to get up because I gotta make dinner now. So I just sat in the chair like, just sat up against the wall for like half an hour.
Right. It's crazy. It's
You
crazy.
guys might have had some fun. There was some downtime where, you know.
I think it's important that, you know, we dialogue with those things. And at the time, I was going to therapy a lot when I was writing the book out and finding some of these memories that were kind of hidden in my memory bank somewhere. And I'm really grateful that I was able to kind of talk about them openly and write about it because I think so many of us go through it.
Leave some of mine in the closets and
Yeah. Never to be seen again. Yeah. How are we doing here? All right, let's see here. Page 80. So this is the part of the agenda where I lost myself because I was too busy talking to my idiot brother. I wish he was here so I could make a real example out of him. But he's not, so.
yeah, FaceTime.
Oh, I think he said to FaceTime him. I totally forgot. It didn't even occur to me. I feel bad now.
FaceTime so he can at least watch you and like shut his mouth.
Yeah, I could talk a little shit if you want.
There you go.
He'll die when he feels like he's in a room with people.
Oh, like, oh, that's my ugly brother.
He'll be like,
Right.
Exactly what he
That's my ugly brother.
I gotta get back to you on that.
Yeah, what's my ugly brother doing now?
Where's Ugly?
Yeah, where's ugly? Oh, is that him? Oh, sorry, that person's so ugly he doesn't know. What's that? How you guys doing? How are we in the back? Good? Phenomenal? Hey man, you know, it's not easy doing magic like this, Santos.
That's so
That's perfect. Oh my god. Hey Mikey. How you doing, honey? Oh, our video's not good.
What's up, brother? What's good, bro?
The video wasn't good. Oh.
I don't know if he can see me. Oh, is that my ugly brother? What are you doing?
Now he's your father.
He's full of shit.
Anthony thought you might want to hear some of his reading, so I FaceTimed you. You're kind of blurry. He's all chopped
You
up.
gotta hang up on him. Tell him goodbye. He had his opportunity to be here just like everyone else.
I was gonna call him.
Cool. All right. Page 80. Let's see here. It's not about what you should do. It's about what you want to do. I like this chapter. We're just going to read a little bit of the beginning here. We're not going to go too far into this part. Page 80. Page 80. Let's see here. These are good talking points. All right. Do you? You know, this isn't one of those color by number book type of deals, picture book. All right. If it's one thing I've learned about people, we fear easily. More than that, we fear solutions even. The tendency to consistently follow how we identify ourselves will always remain our greatest hurdle. It will forever be that way. But to change is a possibility. The ability to change and reinvent ourselves requires no permission, a hall pass, or acceptance from our peers. Would you believe that? You don't need anyone to make up your mind except you. I think that is such an important part of what I do and everything that I do. And one of my talking points here is what comedy taught me from this. And I talk about having no permission or hall pass or acceptance from your peers, mainly because I always felt like I couldn't do certain things because of certain people, or I needed permission to do certain things, and for a long time. And it prevented me from enjoying myself. It prevented me from doing the things I really wanted to do in life. And that's when I started doing things that were very uncomfortable to me. And, you know, when I started getting into stand-up, if it weren't for stand-up and writing and creating content, I don't know that I would have ever really found my voice to do the things I want to do. And when I tell people I do stand-up and I go into the city and I perform at these crazy clubs, usually people are staring at me like I'm nuts because they would never get on stage or ever do any kind of public speaking. And for me, you know, it's not that I know what I'm doing. It's that I enjoy what I'm doing. And by consistently being in uncomfortable situations and consistently going to places that scare the shit out of me, but equally excite me, I've been able to find my way along the way. I've been talking to Will about this for years, that you have to be uncomfortable with everything. You have to, because if you're uncomfortable and you're pursuing things that are important to you, then you're going to be growing and constantly growing and building those calluses on what, you know, you want your life to look like. And, you know, by constantly putting myself out there, I mean, I've got some bizarre stories of showing up at clubs and not having enough guests to even perform. Could you imagine how awful that is? That they won't let you perform? I mean, it doesn't stop me. I finesse them, so I get on stage, but, you know, screw them. But I think it's more about putting yourself out there, and I think these days more than ever, we have more reasons not to put ourselves out there or do the things we want to do or go to the places we want to go to. And frankly, I think that's a whole lot of BS. I think you have to do things that keep you curious. And the power of decisiveness and the ability to always be uncomfortable. You have to stick to it. I talk to so many people inside of a day that have fantastic ideas. Some of the best ideas. But they do not act on them. Good ideas come to life every day and die that very same day. It's the truth. People have, yeah, you're probably one of them. They're great ideas, but I think to bring them to life is to act decisively in any way that you think that may fit your life. Maybe it's going after something new to you. Maybe it's going after that new job. Maybe it's taking a step up in your current position. Maybe it's being a better mom or father or son or daughter. It doesn't matter what it could be. It's a matter of acting on those thoughts and not being compulsive, but decisive. I think it's important that we make quick and uncomfortable decisions without feeling of restriction. And I say that mainly because I've always felt so restricted with the things I've done in my life. It's mainly why I spend so much time now kind of going crazy, because I feel like I finally kind of opened the doors to what I want my life to look like. And to a lot of people, that probably looks bizarre and different and not what they know me for. And that's quite okay, because I'm doing it for me. And I share that with you guys because I hope it's stuff that you do for yourselves, where you don't have to worry about what other people think of you or how they feel about you or how they might, say what they need to say, because for the most part, most people aren't living your life. It doesn't matter. Comics will tell you to have a good setup in your jokes. It's all about a good hook and a good closer. Nothing in between matters. I think any great idea starts with a good ending. And maybe it's just because I'm dyslexic and can't help myself. I always start with my endings before I get to my beginnings. Hell of a recipe for writing jokes as a comic. You always see the end, but you can't see the beginning. So I do a lot of reverse engineering. It's important that you can see, though, what your final thoughts look like at completion, so that you know exactly where to start. I think thinking of things in this way, which has always been a deficiency of mine and an opportunity, I thought, because I could never see things from start to finish. I always saw them from finish to start. I think that type of thinking takes you from being a passenger in your life and puts you in the driver's seat. And I don't know about you guys, but I like to live my life. I like to enjoy it. And I only just learned in the last couple of years how to do that. Was that like a... Oh. Thank you. Appreciate that. See ya. So go out there and do things that make you uncomfortable is my point. And get a better feeling for what that looks like. Write it down, talk about it, bring it into the world. Whatever makes you most comfortable. I think I'm probably an extreme case, but I like to talk about what I'm thinking and feeling and getting it out there. And I'm very sorry because most of you in this room have had to listen to me ramble many days and cry and pout and talk about good times and bad times, but that's what makes me feel good. And I've learned only very recently in this year that that's okay. And you should feel comfortable to do the things that are uncomfortable to you, because it's the only way we grow as people. Let's see here. Page 85. Let's see what I was thinking. Let's all go there and figure it out together. We are on this journey together, everyone. This is good. Not sure what I was thinking here. Not sure. Let's figure it out. We'll figure it out here. All right. The great part is we all do what we want on our own terms. Coursing people or manipulating situations in our favor will always catch up to us. And hard work doesn't necessarily mean that good things will happen for you. Trust me when I say someone is out there working harder and getting less. That's the irony of this. You must do things to become your best self, take moments for introspection, and even time for a couple deep breaths. In the time that it takes you to read this book, I've spent many months and many years of my life trying to get to this very moment. I'm not a perfect man by any means, and granted I speak of the good, it's not lost on me that there's pain that resides in all of us. I'm riddled with pain, but we all are. I mean pain that can crush us. It's embedded in every single one of us, but what you do with it is your call. I think it's up to you to never turn your back on your pain, but to face it curiously and openly. As I sat here tonight trying to bury the hatchet on some long overdue pain that's been holding me back, I've learned yet another lesson that I wanted to share and even thought it would be a great way to end this book. It's just words on paper right now, but hear me when I tell you that this has been my life for many years. The highs and the lows have been hard, even when taken in stride. While I hope these words find you well and can help you change how you see things or manage your life, I also know you're going to do exactly what you want. As you should. I didn't put that in the book. But as you should, do what you want. I wasn't going to keep going. That's actually part of my agenda to end right there.
Sorry.
Thank you for interjecting. And so, we'll end that chapter there. I want to share with you one of my favorite quotes that I think would be a great segue from that chapter. Now, I've never been a godly man, and I preface it as that because, well, you believe in whatever the hell you want to believe in. But this quote does mention God, so there you go. Our greatest fear is a quote by Marianne Williamson. Some say it's the earlier works of Nelson Mandela, but there's no fact checkers here, so everybody take it easy. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and even fabulous? Damn straight. Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God, and your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were born to make and manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. I love that quote. That's a great quote. How do we feel about that? You guys like that? That's a good quote? Very much so. Oh, thank you, thank you.
Who's in that movie?
What movie?
Coach Carter.
Yes. Oh,
Coach Carter.
Yeah, it was that fun.
Have I seen that movie? I don't know.
Samuel L. Jackson's basketball coach. Great movie.
It was a good movie.
I'm not going to tell you anything else. Because literally ruin the rest of the movie.
But it wasn't that movie.
Great movie.
Well, you're definitely going to love how I finished tonight, so.
Yeah, like
It's
that beginning
pieces.
part.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, not the whole quote, but it's pieces.
So it's got to be good if it's in a movie, right? I mean, that's fair. I meant to start with my some of my acknowledgments and dedications. So we're gonna digress for a moment, and then we're gonna bring this all to a close. I wanted to dedicate mixed feelings to the man I once was, a reminder that we are not the sum of our problems. Every day is a new day, and thanks to my dad who couldn't be here to see this book, but inspires me daily with his wisdom and love. Many of you don't know, but the last couple days I've been crying my absolute ass off. I don't know why. And the more I read this book, the more I thought about my dad. And, how proud he would be of me. And, he probably wouldn't even know what the hell this is right now. He's like, what is going on over there? What Why you read it? Why you reading to people? Nobody wants to hear you. Yeah.
Sugar packets.
He'd be shoving toilet paper in his pocket from the bathroom. He was a strange one, but he meant well. If it weren't for his wisdom and love, I don't know that this book would have come into fruition. During my really bad times, I thought of him regularly because I was not good. And if it weren't for some of the words on paper here and some of the thoughts I wrote about, I'm not sure I'd be here, to be honest. It was hard to bring this this book together. It was hard. Yeah, very difficult. And so I thank him and wish he was here to share this moment with me. But
You could have brought any number of parts of him with you.
Thanks for shedding light on that. My mother has his urn at her home where he'll be staying. It's very weird.
How appropriate that he finally came home to live with me.
We should have wrote oversharer on her name tag, right? We should have all wrote our deficiencies. Talks too much. Oversharer. Doesn't talk enough. We know.
Wonder where you got that from.
It's my life. Let me live it how I want. And my acknowledgments. Ma, I love you and thank you for always believing in me when I didn't. To my siblings and closest friends, your support and compassion in my endeavors have been profound. I will forever be grateful. My brother Michael, let this be the first of many thanks to you. If it wasn't for the tough love from you and Daddy, I don't know that I'd be here to give you a thank you. I want to give a special thanks to Mary, who I wish could be here, and if I asked her to be here, she would have taken a flight from the UK to be here. I insisted she not be here.
Mary is
my assistant and manager. Mary handles basically everything I can't, which is quite a bit. Mary's my rock when it comes to things like this. If it weren't for Mary, this book wouldn't be here in front of us. Put it like that. I want to thank her and the fine people who helped me bring this book to you today. It's been a journey like yours in many ways, but also different in many ways. Let this final acknowledgement, and the most important one of all, stay with you throughout this book. To the ones who kicked me when I was down, the ones who aren't here now, the ones who hurt me for their gain, the people I invited into my home for dinners, the ones that I shared some of my best memories with, I wish you well and hope that you find your way in this world. May you eat like the rest of us, just not at my table. Aww. I feel very awkward. I feel very awkward. I left. I'm not coming back. Everybody get a drink, whether it be water or wine or a milk baba, if you so choose. I like to end the night with a little bit of a toast, if you would indulge me. So grab a drink, please. Whatever you want, please help yourself. That's the good stuff.
Yes, I read.
I had to hustle my ass through ShopRite yesterday, half asleep, to get that stuff.
I told him it's in every store on earth around here.
Oh, yes. That is high quality issue.
You can do. Ooh, my mama said. My mama said this is the high quality H2O.
This is awesome, dude. We're proud of you, brother.
Thank you, Jesse. I really appreciate it.
You've been here.
I'll be cheersing with my Pellegrino.
Jesse's got the best hearing on earth because he can hear me, heckling, jeckling back here.
That's right.
Turning, giving me the fish eye. I'm over here looking at the baby and he's turning on me looking like. She is a champion.
Oh, she's awesome.
She doesn't make any noise.
No, she's
I'd have to set all you kids on the other side of the bicycles to play with.
right. That's right. My mom would be up about me.
Does everyone have a drink?
Yes.
Everyone's got a drink?
Did you get
Yes,
one?
I have mine.
All right.
We're ready.
Ready?
Ready.
Never lie, steal, cheat, or drink. But if you must lie, lie in the arms of the one you love. And if you must cheat, cheat death. And if you must drink, drink in the moments that take your breath away. Cheers. Thank you guys. Thank you everyone for coming and being a part of tonight. I love you guys so much. This means the entire world to me.
Love you, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does everyone have... Oh, very loud. Very loud. All right. Wow. I'm not half bad, I guess, for winging it, right? I'm not bad, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Was that exciting? Tell Anthony, yeah. Oh, yeah. Say my bingo wings are
Oh, you almost bingoed me to the floor just now. Bingo! What's up, Faye?
Well, I can't stay and wrap things up with you.
No, that's fine. I'll get home, get going.
And I'll just get in under the wire.
No, get going. Don't